We're back to the shivering
Sirloin.
break. To the sirloin break. Sirloin.
Sirloin.
Well,
We just ate a bunch of sirloin earlier.
we went to all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue.
A lot of sirloin being eaten.
We have the meat sweats.
Not popping right now on my mock neck. Yeah, usually a mock neck is a killer outfit, but
It's kind of tight. I think it's the 9 or 10 plates of meat that we ate.
But let's just get this show off started with the fit check. It's the most melancholic show. You could play Kid Cudi humming sounds in the background the whole time. So what are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Well, I'm wearing some black double knee carpenter's pants.
Okay. Now I start off with the shoes.
990s.
This podcast was DOA, honestly. Or we could drive off a cliff and just go out in the blaze of glory.
Speaking of the Blades of Glory,
I feel like the character in The Whale.
V5.
990 God. Sirloin.
You know,
Yeah,
you know how we
put
roll.
the sirloin on your feet.
Got that sirloin. Got that. Worn by models in London, but also dads in Ohio, smoking cigarettes, drinking vodka, martinis,
Diet Coke.
whole lot of nothing.
We just call it the Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's that California diet. That
All
Michelle
right, 990
Pfeiffer diet.
God. 990
So, yeah.
God. What are
So
we
rocking
talking
the
about?
990s, New Balance.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs vibes. I got the black, what is it? The double knee
Yeah.
carpenter pant.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Are you shaving wood over there? You gotta shave that off to call yourself a man.
hey, Bruce Jenner did.
I never got how he's like super anti gay marriage, I should say. How's that work out? So we're supposed to identify him as a woman, and then like he's in a relationship with the girl because like he's still like into women, correct? So I was like, does that make him a lesbian?
True.
But he's super against like gay relationships. How's that work out?
Or if he's a woman now.
He wants to be identified as a woman. Okay,
But-
you're identified as a woman, but he's going out with another woman, a homosexual relationship.
Since Bruce is now Caitlyn and Caitlyn's a woman,
Yeah.
and what if a man fancies Caitlyn? Would you say that
This is like the grandfather paradox.
would you say it's also kind of like some sort of like, you know, prison mentality stuff? Because hear me out. Bruce felt like he was in a prison of his own body, which makes him a prisoner.
I'm just
Now that
confused. You know what I mean?
now that he's
Homie
Caitlyn-
watched like Tenet.
Now that he's Caitlyn, he can be free, but he still has the mentality of being institutionalized from his previous
Being a
mental
hetero.
prison.
Yeah.
So he has to do the
He
quote
thinks
unquote.
he's hetero, but he's not hetero.
So he has to do these quote unquote gay things just to prove who he is
Oh,
or
no.
she is.
You know,
We lost everybody. We should probably just cut this piece out. It doesn't.
I'm not
make
cutting
sense.
it out. I want to hear the audience take on this. Like, what does that make him? I don't understand. Like,
What does that make her?
her. I'm so sorry. I'm dead naming his gender. Okay. What does that make her? Like, if you're a dude that transitioned to a woman, but you're still into women, but you don't identify as a gay person, what does that make you? I don't know. I want to learn. I want to know.
We need the trans to translate this for us.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck I just opened up, but
we are in the era of like we're not allowed to be confused. I'm just a little bit confused, and you know what? The only person that can not make it confusing is the person that I think I'm confused about.
this is the wildest opening of a podcast.
No, it's not the wildest opening. It's the most honest opening, I think. You know,
I feel very vulnerable right now.
it's just like the whale. Like, give me something honest, finally. You know, shit. Anyway, 990 quad, sirloin. Let's go.
The Steve Jobs 990 New Balances, black double knee carpenter pants,
V5,
V5,
V5, not that V long.
white Nike Dry Fit socks,
Okay.
and then I have a black T-shirt on, Target, $6 make you holla,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sirloin.
and then my favorite gray human-made hoodie. And I was just thinking recently, this hoodie's been around the world. Like, do you ever think
What do you
about
mean?
that with your clothes? Like, when you look at a piece of clothing, you're like, damn, this fucking jacket or pair of shoes has traveled. It's been to, like, everywhere.
I guess so, but I'm also thinking like all the diseases and germs come from all over the world, and
Those
It just
pieces
goes
of
with
clothes.
you. It's now it's a part of you.
Well, you gotta wash the stuff.
Imagine you just stepped on the loogie in Paris. You're like, that's on my shoe now forever from Paris.
True.
With love.
Yeah, with love, respectfully.
But you were wearing some other gear on top.
Oh, yeah, so I took it off because it was quite warm, and I had the meat sweats, and we smelled like beef because we had KBBQ.
That's Korean barbecue for you folks.
But I had a Ralph Lauren chore jacket on. I would say like a French blue with it was distressed with some paint splatter on there.
Are you that painter from Wedding Crashers? I tell you what, he's not confused. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Had that on, and then I had a New York fitted Kith one, but it's my favorite one because it has the New York logo, but very, very small.
Hey, tiny.
And yeah, that's the fit today.
All right, I'm just rocking the Nike Tiger Woods hat, like dry fit hat, the heritage hat. Then I'm wearing the Aimé Leon d'Or mock neck. I don't know what kind of blue is this, like what, royal blue, right? And then I had LA Apparel sweatpants, white, pink Hanes socks, Supreme collab, and the 990 God B5 sirloin shoes, the gray. I think it's the first time we wore the same shoes.
You know, we had to, and it wasn't planned either. It just happened this way.
That's giving me the meat sweats.
It's making your meat sweat.
Yeah, I was like, oh god. Imagine that scene from Freaky Friday where like they end up in like same t-shirt, and like, well, someone has to, like, there can only be one. Some Highlander shit.
There can only be one 990 God.
That's what my father told me. It's like there can only be one.
He takes that law very seriously.
I take that book very seriously.
Well, yeah, you know, you got to.
I go on first dates and talk about 48 laws of power. It's like, you ever heard of stir up waters to catch fish?
Oh,
Never get the free lunch.
nothing's ever
It's like,
free.
you already failed both. It's okay. We're working on that. I just realized this is episode 10. Wow. We made it that far.
We did.
Should we just 86 the whole agenda and be like, we're going to go on rants? I got in the car today and this homeless person was really annoying me.
So listen.
This is the part where we drive off the car, off the cliff.
How do you feel like your tax dollars and where they're going?
I don't like the lack of transparency. You know what I mean?
Do you want to talk about our Lord and Savior today?
I don't believe, that the IRS was shooting in the gym with me. That's all I'm saying.
Do you feel like they should defund the IRS? Have you seen that rhetoric going
I think
around?
we need like an IRS to look into the IRS. You need some type of deposition or committee. Jesus Christ. But speaking of defrauding and being non-transparent, you hear that Balenciaga has their showing come back in Paris Fashion Week. Very quiet, very silent. Everyone knows, I believe at this point, what's going on with Balenciaga. And, Demna is trying to pare it back. And from what I hear, it's the Chinese market that's kind of like upholding the company at the moment.
I think that ship has sailed as far as the U.S. market goes because everyone's soft. They can't handle a stiff drink and a hard fuck.
Shouts out to Dad Pedia.
Yeah, happy fucks.
No,
can't
honestly,
handle it.
they try to cancel Balenciaga. They try to cancel. Like, the same people that ripped up their shit, obviously, are the same people. They don't know what the fuck they're doing with their money. And they don't have any type of, like,
Dude, they were burning
core
their fucking
principles.
hoodies
Yeah.
and hats. And
Remember those bums that were fucking burning their Nike socks and Colin Kaepernick bands? Like, you dummy. Like, you think Nike gets a fuck?
yeah,
You think Balenciaga gets a fuck?
he already paid for it.
They literally, like, they already cashed out already. You know what I mean?
Dude, when I was in Europe recently, no one gave a fuck about the Balenciaga thing. I'm not saying...
Everyone fake cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one gives a fuck about it. It's like, it's a
Like-
24-hour news cycle. I mean, yeah, we're a part of that. At the same time, it's like, what's the rule for PR? Like 72 hours. Give me 72 hours, and like, if they're really still talking about the 72 hours, yeah, maybe it has a shot, but like, not really. You know what I
True.
mean? So that cancel culture,
Everyone's got their 15 minutes.
cancel culture is fucking stupid because no one gets to learn from their atrocities. And, you know, it gives off that very performative holier than thou, which no one is holier than thou. They came out with the 3XL sneaker, which is like the like basically Asics with the chunky sole. And in the Asian markets, did fucking well. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, they eat that shit up.
like you said, it's an international market. You know, yeah, we think U.S. here is like, oh, we're the main market. It's like, no, we're not. Like, obviously, you go to any luxury house, like the Chinese consumer is like number one.
Them red envelopes be kicking.
Yeah, like it was a hit there, and like they try to cancel Dolce and Gabbana. They try to cancel Alexander Wang. They all literally went to the Chinese market and
Try to cancel Jean Galliano.
They're good. They're fine. Like, okay. So what? They know it's like they're just gonna double down on their opulence, and it's just gonna be like, you're still gonna buy it, and you're gonna shut the fuck up.
And I feel like they're probably gonna take that approach of like, oh, this piece is only available in the Shanghai store and the Macau store,
Which,
so
like
now
I said,
it makes it
more exclusive.
special and rare and exclusive.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
so it's kind of like the people that started this whole movement of like the whole cancel movement towards whatever brand they're doing it towards. They're actually kind of doing them a favor.
You know what really irks me is when people want to boycott brands they can't afford.
Mm-hmm. That's
You know
fucking
what I mean?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Speak on it, please.
You know, like when like some people hate on whatever like partner because like you can't hate if you can't get it. What's the old saying? It's like you can't even afford it, don't even ask.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like all people like remember the Gucci shit that happened like a while back with the red lipstick and looked like blackface. Right? I see a lot of black people still buying fucking Gucci. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna go boycott it. It's like you couldn't afford it in the first place. And you know what? If you had the money, you're probably still gonna buy it. They know this. Like time and time again, you think you're gonna push these brands to the brink, and you're not. You know what I mean? Like there's so much money to be fucking made out there. There's so many people that still want to have status in this culture, and there's still want people that want to flex. And as long as we have that, you know, brands like Balenciaga or Dolce & Gabbana or Alexander Wang are not gonna die. And I'm tired of this like fake caring shit. Going off that 3XL sneaker, like that running sneaker, that's like a big thing going on right now in fashion, like the running sneaker. You see a lot of companies like Montclair and Zegna get into that market of athletic, chunky, hiker trail, late 90s sneaker, running sneaker. I know you've been a big fan of that for like a couple of years now. So how do you feel about these like heritage brands getting into that game?
Leave it to the people that know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, I think Zegna actually did collaborate with like a core brand, Norda 001. You know what I mean? So how do you feel about like maybe a heritage brand that actually collaborates with an actual like hiking company?
I think if they get the collaboration, then it works. I saw the Zegna ones. I'm not too convinced. It's not really my vibe. I don't like the Montclair ones. I don't like the 3XLs. I am a fan of the new Vomeros. Well, not new.
Well, not new. It's
re-edition
old,
of them.
Old, yeah, they're doing a lot of colorways on it.
They have been out of rotation or out of availability for, I'd say, the past 10 years. The Vomeros.
I went to Undefeated the other day. They had a couple pairs.
Before, I would say the recently, like, I would say the past 6 to 8 months is when they've been starting to come back. Besides
they used to be bigger in Europe than they were in America.
Because I remember I got my first pair of Vomero 5s like in 2010.
Yeah, they're old shoe.
And that's when I fell in love with like the comfort of that style of shoe.
Super comfy shoe.
And like they're not the coolest looking shoes, but they are
soft
cool right now.
Like because the whole running sneaker
exactly.
thing.
So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But I bring them up because I like those. The Zegna, the Montclair, the 3XL WAC, Asics.
That is their
Kayano.
running company. So
yeah, like those are fly. New Balance,
Solomon's,
obviously.
bro.
Solomon's. You know.
Yeah. Your next door neighbor has Solomon's now. They're everywhere. The colorways are nice. I wish I had more options when I was into them, but you know, like fucking Logan Paul wears Solomon's. No, shout out to Logan Paul. Like, good for him. He's a hustler, but do not look for him as a style piece.
Yeah, for fashion advice, don't go to them.
You know what I mean? We see like 40-year-olds rock them and not like trying to be ironic. Yeah, it's not going places where it should be going. You know, but if you are using them for hiking and shit, good for you. You're better than me.
I use them to go over, run errands or go to the bar and have a drink.
Moment. You know, Will doesn't like running sneakers anywhere.
Yeah.
And like the number one selling shoe is their running sneaker with like basic clothes.
Yeah. How do you feel about the people that work out in Converse?
You know what? If you're doing deadlifts or
I've heard it's a flat shoe.
Squat, it's really good.
It works for all those fucking
but
reasons.
But if you're not doing fucking leg day, please don't wear Converse in a gym. But even I don't like do it. Like I'd rather you work out fucking like footless. No, fuck that. Don't work out foot. Work out with socks or something.
Work out in Birkenstocks?
You think you're Jesus? You think you're fucking Steve Jobs?
Hey, they're strong guys.
You think you can handle a stiff drink and a hard fuck in Birkenstocks? You think you can handle eating fucking sirloin in Birkenstocks? But knock you off your feet. Yeah, so, dude.
How do you feel about the running sneakers right now?
It's cool. I'm trying to get back to running myself. So that's one of the reasons why I got 990. It fits that mold of like I could literally work out, go for a run. You know what I mean? I've been running around my lake over here. And literally throw on some pants real quick. And then like, I'll be about my day. And go out that night and still be like, it's a cool sneaker right now. So I know you wear it a lot, so like, what's your like excuse to wear the shoe?
Just super comfy, man. I like the way it looks. We're all wearing, more relaxed, more baggy pants now, except Saint Laurent.
Except William.
Yeah, William and Saint Laurent and Hetty and Celine. But that's their own.
Allegedly,
world.
It's an undone look.
It's an
undone look.
It's coming back.
I gotta wear hard bottoms to fucking my airplane because it's undone. TSA's gonna be pissed.
They're like, fuck, you're putting on the Cuban heel? It's a Chelsea boot. But I like them because they're super comfy. You can wear them with almost anything. It looks cool.
Uh-huh.
And some of the coolest people who, I guess I would say coolest, who I think have really good taste and know how to dress, wear them as their day-to-day kind of outfit. Just something to fucking
but it's not on like that dad swag. Or like I'm wearing running sneakers and fucking Wranglers, that Brett Favre shit.
But you can make it that, but it's like I hate saying this, a more elevated version of it.
It's more elevated. It's more elegant.
Yeah, it's just more tasteful.
Are you more learned?
More learned. See,
so when we get that edumacation, you become more learned.
A Philistine would do otherwise.
I feel like who'd be into this is Brost.
990s?
Purely functional.
Yeah, Brost. You should get yourself a pair of 990s. You are a father. Happy birthday, by the way.
Worry. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to Brost.
Belated, because it's a couple days later since we recorded it.
Speaking of Adidas and running sneakers, Adidas and Y3 are having an atelier division focused on monozukuri.
Which means production, right?
It means craft. You sound so fucking confident. Yeah, production. No, it means craft.
I'm excited to see what Y3 is going to put out with their atelier. I wonder if we're going to see a lot of the Yoji's super drapey trench coats, drop crotch pants.
It's over, man. There's so many brands that do this. It was novel when it was back in like the early 2000s. They're like, oh, we never seen this type of collaboration. And yay, every time on our fucking podcast, but we all know he had like they had that agreement with Ye to sell some of his goods. Not some, a good amount. Like what? 500 million of his fucking gear. So again, cancel culture failed again. Like fucking the almighty dollar wins, right? So trying to fill a void in their like
creativity.
Art department.
Well, they know Yoji Yamamoto. I think they know that he's a very safe pick. He's already in their organization.
Well, it's been long, right?
Yeah.
Like it's an ongoing, been almost 20 years.
He's already in the organization. It's kind of someone they can easily just tap on the shoulder and be like, "Yo, we need you to fill in for this spot." And
not even fill in, just like continue.
yeah,
I feel like everyone's tapped out. Like, okay, remember Pharrell and Adidas had a thing? He's gone now. He's doing obviously at LV, CD of LV. Rick Owens had a collab with them. Well, he's off that. You know what I mean? So, the Blue Ivy Park, you heard about that, right? Beyonce's losing fucking millions of dollars, like 9 figures worth of material, just losing like in the fucking red. You should probably cut that line too. They're just fucking tapped out.
I feel like whoever's the head of partnerships, cut that guy.
Yo, and then like Wexler, the guy that needs to attract all like top talent to go to do collaborations with Adidas. He left Adidas.
Really?
Yeah, like a while back. It's old news. So it just seems like I know like their revenues is like in like what $2 billion a year. Their revenues. So like we're not saying the fucking sky's falling, but they're taking a lot of fucking L's, and then this is like a drop in the bucket to where they need to fix things wholesale wise in the company. No.
I definitely think they need to fix some shit. Because I wasn't aware that Wex left.
Yeah.
But they lost the guy that was leading the charge.
He's the one that put Adidas back on the map, right? During like the mid 2010s where everyone just wanted to start working with Adidas. And he could thank Ye for that, honestly. Right? Like, he led the charge for that.
So, yeah, I think.
Yeah. The Y3 stuff, I mean, good on them. I have a lot of respect for Yoji Yamamoto, but I just think it's just like, I'm like, it doesn't move any needle. The show's going off the rails.
And we're back from our sponsor, Los Globos. We're back from our sponsor, Caitlyn Jenner.
Stiff drinking a hard fuck.
Brought to you by a stiff drink and a hard fuck. New Diesel fashion show. They had some massive inflatable people fucking.
It's just me, whiskey, Adderall, and Diesel jeans.
I've never seen that, but I want to see it.
I look.
That reminds me of a Jotty.
Yeah, it's whiskey, Adderall, it's a Diesel jeans. That's all y'all need. Like, you don't need a shirt. You don't need nothing else. You need some whiskey, Adderall, and some fucking whiskey jeans.
I feel like after that, like I definitely had a stiff drink and a hard fuck.
Oh my god, they should sell Diesel jeans in prison.
Yeah, they would hit.
I had an idea where I was like, we should like get some pen pals in prison and like we take this show and be like, yo, we rate people's outfits in prison.
Prison fits.
Prison fits.
Let's see how creative.
Not prison fit like you've been fucking doing a 10 count all day. You do like burpees to like, on level 4. But like just prison fits. I don't know. You need to tune into prison TikToks. It'll go down
Watch
a
some
fucking
prison
rabbit
talk.
hole. Yo, they're even better than I am. Not gonna lie. Dude, yo, they literally have barbecue and cookouts.
Dude, sometimes they have Popeyes in there. It's like, how?
Yo, I see them with like a live like fire. They would be cooking shit. I'm like, damn. Homie, you got the grill indoors.
Dude, I see them fry Spam in there.
And you cover their just like t-shirts and like there's the lookout guy and motherfucker be cooking and like a shrimp scampi.
That's ingenuity. That's that sirloin?
I remember we saw the one where it's just like, yo, you want some cherry slushies? I'm like, yo, I don't even make that, bro. Like, y'all got some great time.
Honestly, man,
Want some Oreo cheesecake?
with a little free time in your mind, anything's possible.
And were you just hanging with the boys? Sounds like a good time to me.
Dude, have you heard about the people like when they're gonna get out? They're like, wait up, I don't want to leave. All my friends are here. Everything's paid for.
Institutionalized. Yo, I don't know.
Dude, but Glenn Martins, he's the new CD of Diesel.
Yeah, I mean they had a resurgence the past, I say year. Yeah.
Dude, he saved them from their midlife crisis.
I read the article too. Thanks.
Buzzwords. Mm-hmm. But no, man, he pulled the Tom Ford on them. He made them sexy again, made them fun. had to hit him with the controversial ads.
No bullshit, as he said.
And, like, who remembers wearing diesel jeans back in the day? Who remembers the advertisements?
Yeah. I mean,
Do you
definitely going the
remember?
controversial route. I know a lot of the, like, 40% of the stuff is, like, recycled material. So he's definitely upcycling. I guess we definitely called that. Like, that's going to be the next cool shit. So upcycling, archive, all the buzzwords for a company to get back in good terms with the new generation. And you know what? It's working. But above that, I think it's his actual fashion runway shows are actually killing it. I know it's weird. Diesel runway shows, you're like, why? But the art installations, right? I mean, this year they had like a mound of like Durex condoms. It's a mound, like I guess like some type of like safe sex situation. I think last year they had like a blow up of like some individuals doing some lewd acts.
They was fucking.
I think Guinness World Records was like, the biggest like statue or art installation ever. You know what
So
I
they
mean?
were checking off multiple boxes.
Yeah, and then like that show was like in the arena and somewhere in Italy, or Milan probably, and like it was like, they're like, the most democratic fashion show ever. So seems like you're just blowing up, and this is the part that got me really interested actually about Glenn Martin and Diesel's almost resurgence. They're almost there. Like, I think it's still within the fashion world, but I think they're just about to maybe cross over, be like where the real money's at. Glenn Martin said a creative director has to be multifaceted. It's not about creating a universe, creating the next silhouette and the next color palette, but you're the social media guy. You are the PR guy now. You are the creative marketing savant, like social media. Like, your goal is to reach virality. You're an influencer, essentially, right? Now we have creative directors have to be influencers and just beyond the product person. They have to communicate on all DSPs and whatnot. And you know what happens? It creates a level where we need to reach virality. It's not even about the actual material anymore. So you think this is a sustainable route? I mean, this is the prerequisite to get people talking, but you think this is sustainable in the sense that you think it'll just cannibalize itself?
So you're saying, like, do the clothes even matter anymore?
Do they? Yeah. Does clothing even matter anymore? Like, fucking probably a future of creative directors is ChatGPT anyway and Bard.
Like, make me a collection.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because like, it'll gather all the data way better than a fucking assistant and a creative director and his minions in the company can do. It's like, I could research the companies and the fashion's archive in the past 100 years in a span of fucking 5 seconds. You want the blues? I'll give you all the fucking blues we did. You know? You want frayed jeans? I'll give you all the frayed jeans we did. You know? So, I mean, so does like clothing even matter in this age of Chat GPT?
Or are we just creating hype?
Well, he just said like being this influencer, multifaceted creative director, you have to create hype now. You know, I mean, back then it used to be brands, smaller brands, usually do these like, for lack of a better word, gimmicky things to elicit attention. I think any person that owns their business or is trying to elicit some type of attention rely on gimmick alternatives to get said attention, right? But now you're seeing major brands do this, and now it's like an arms race now to be like, how outlandish can you get out there to get people fucking talking?
Yeah, and now it's like the thing is you have, because the attention span is so short, you have to have them talking as often as you can consistently.
Yeah, I mean, so much of fashion is youth culture. And then like anyway, what we're trying to say is how far can you take it? Like we've about had it about with hype culture. And now we're seeing essentially high fashion kind of adopt a streetwear model that we taken and talked about before. And there's this pageantry happening, and it's just, I don't know. It's getting kind of crazy. It's getting, in a way where they're trying to be sustainable. They're not trying to come out with all these gimmicks every season. to elicit more fucking eyeballs. Because you can make the greatest shit, and if you don't have eyeballs, you're not gonna move units. If you're not gonna move units, your ass is canned.
I feel like they're doing these, like you said, these crazy gimmicks so that they can.
It's part of the game now, though, right? Like that's almost like it's a cornerstone. It's not even a question whether you should do it. It's like how you're gonna do it and outdo the competition.
Well, kind of like we spoke about on the last episode, mischief.
Yeah.
Who's the king or queen or the one that is leading the pack of these gimmicks?
I like him the most. He does it with almost the least amount of, I guess, cost, for lack of a better word. You know, so
yeah.
Like he does it literally through his phone. Like he don't need to put on a fucking go on Paris, Milan, or London Fashion Week. Costs millions of dollars to put on production and hire people and construct this thing, which you're gonna deconstruct in fucking 24 hours. He just does it with his phone and literally social media.
And it changes the
barrier to
world.
entry is so minimal, right? What's to say about us? We're like, if the stakes are not really high and it's not something that we haven't consumed before, we're just like, this is boring, not into it.
Are we?
No, we are. We're like fucking fast food.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we overexposed and overstimulated?
No, because it has to get bigger. It has to get larger. It has to get crazier. That's why we see all these shows. And I know Kid Super had like that very immersive show. And, you know, Virgil before that had these really extravagant shows. I mean, there's another one called Unreal Age where they had the UV light change the color of the clothes. So, like, models would walk up to a certain point. Then a UV ray bar would go like above them, the light, and it would change the color of their outfit. Or what's the other one? Avobs.
I like that one. That one was super cool.
Yeah.
It had
yeah.
No. So that one was super cool. It had most of the clothes, or actually all of it, would fall apart, and the designer and the creator of the brand, her thought process behind it was, what's the most embarrassing thing that could happen during a fashion show that every designer or every brand is in fear of? The nightmare would be all the clothes and all the garments falling apart or having an issue. So she made that the focal point of her fashion show, along with giving it a Duchampian vibe. Yeah, we're going back to that. Fucking Philistines. Enjoy some art. Philistines. Giving it a Duchampian vibe with the shoes. Over the top, massive furry boots, like if it was fucking...
So it's almost like designed to fail.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's like the art of it.
So everything all falls apart.
But how crazy is that? We come to a point in the fashion runway, so it's like, I want this to go fucking off the rails, off the cliff. It's just like clothes don't even fucking work anymore.
And you know how they never want...
And we're talking about it, and it worked, right? In a way. And in some weird paradoxical way, it fucking worked.
And you know how, like, when for the fashion shows, they only want you to see what they're putting on the runway, and they don't want you to see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
because that's the chaos. At the end of the show, when she's walking walking down the catwalk, not catwalk, the runway, the back wall falls down, and you see all the models behind her.
It gets
in, like,
meta.
the dressing area.
It gets mad meta,
and you get to see into the world of, you know, like what's going on behind the scenes. So I thought that was really cool, and it's kind of like
it's very.
I guess we'll just say the anarchist take to fashion, because it's like anti-establishment.
Yeah,
like
or nihilist, or just like all this doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm really designing clothes that are not meant to fucking work, and you're gonna eat it up. It's almost like how like this postmodernism breeds like pessimism. You're just pessimistic and cynical, be like whatever, right? To be cynical about something means there's something wrong with it, and then that's like your take on it, which comes like a meta-analysis of the actual like subject matter you're trying to discuss. So it's like a deconstruction of that. I know it's become like a fucking lecture class on postmodernism, but this postmodernism is bringing cynicism, which really got famous by full circle moment. Demna, You're right, like his cynical view of like
Social
fashion.
experiment.
Yeah, like he is one of the best people to put on shows, honestly. Right? I remember like the mud one, or the one like walking on like water and fire, or the one that was like underneath a Chinese restaurant, like very dystopian future. Well, it's like you could buy this for $1,000. You know, it's like it's like fashion's making their own dystopian future, and it's just like let's add on to it.
Yeah, when they sold the fucking Frito-Lay's chip bag,
IKEA bag,
the
shirt on a shirt. Yeah.
The smushed Stan Smith.
Yeah. The huge, before there was the mischief boots, his old huge like army boots, like the really large ones, like the black ones.
The SpongeBob boots.
Yeah, in a way. It gets a little derivative, and it gets very like cynical to a point where it's like, what's the point of all this? Cynicism breeds into like nihilism.
And what does nihilism breed into?
I don't know. That's where you go with Nietzsche, like the darkness, and from darkness you get meaning. So it goes back to
the light.
It goes back to the light. It's just like
it's the circle of life.
What's the answer? The answer is there is no answer. Yeah, I mean, like W. Du Bois was like one of the early dudes in Harvard, one African American's black person that got into Harvard, and he had like this duplicity, this dual ideology, being like the person that you see in essentially, but in layman terms, what you present yourself to the white world, and the person you present to, the world you come from, or the world you know. You know what I mean? But you could take that way close. Like, is this the idealized self where you want to be presented as, or is this the self that you want to like reveal yourself because it's really who you are?
Yeah, because like here's a good example. During the fucking pandemic, when we were all locked up at home, we didn't really have a reason or an excuse to go dress nice for people or go do that, even though we do quote unquote dress for ourselves because it does make you feel good.
Yeah.
But if, like the saying, all dressed up and nowhere to go, I don't think anyone was sitting in their house all dressed up with literally nowhere to go.
Was that a dark place or was that an uplifting place for you?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
I lost a bunch of weight, but I figured out I could drink a lot of whiskey.
Were you doing a 10 count in your room?
I actually did no workouts. Started with juices.
You went straight to a ketogenic state?
Yeah. I put the fork down.
During the pandemic.
Yeah.
No straight line for me, Mom.
I peaked.
I peaked.
I want to know where's Kamala?
So where is Kamala? Kamala, where are you?
Where art thou?
You know what? Like, I feel sorry for women. No, because like, they got their shot. Like, we got one in, and it was a fucking dud. So when we look back, we ask like, our children's gonna look at us and be like, "Oh, you were there when the first female vice president." Like, yeah, that's where it ends.
Who was
that's where the conversation? Like, yeah, we had one. Cool.
Who was the talk show host that she used to be friends with Maury?
Oh, Montel Jordan?
Yeah.
I thought it was Montel Jordan, like, it's Friday night.
No, Montel Jordan, my bad. It wasn't Maury.
The party's up in the West Side. I Slick Willie. Yeah, if you know, you know Slick Willie? Slick Willie Brown?
I don't think so.
He's good friends with Bill Clinton. No, it's all about Kamala. Old Bill Clinton. Some could argue that he's actually the first black president.
Bill Clinton gets mad love in Harlem.
Bill Clinton was, to me, he's the first black president. I'll go on record saying that.
I feel that.
Only plays the saxophone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
multiple relationships.
Multiple situations.
You don't love smoking weed.
He's from Arkansas. He's got that Arkansas.
Cheats on his wife.
And he uses his wife to get to where he wanted.
Black men don't cheat.
Yeah, black men don't cheat.
But I don't know. Maybe we gotta save it for another pod, like political swag. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's what are you gonna judge? Like how like banal it is. I don't know.
How they wore their suits.
Yeah.
How swaggy their walks were.
We should do a deep dive on Kamala.
I'm down.
We should get Montel Jordan on here and Slick Willie Brown. I think he's dead, but like Montel Jordan, I think we get him for the cheap.
Probably on a Friday night.
Oh, we do live on the west side.
Well,
All right.
that's all, folks. We have 90 more episodes to get this right, so stay in tune. Stay in touch.
Lates.